The handlebar settings. I just wanted to go over one more thing with you before I pack this up. I reconfigured my handlebars. You can see here we've got the thumb throttle on this side. When the bike arrived, the thumb throttle was on this side. It was actually positioned where the control pad is right here, and then we had the brake lever, and then we had the control pad here. My hand on here sits over here. In order for me to reach the control pad, I had to lean my thumb over right over here in order to press it. It was very difficult to do. And also, this was the front brake, and this was the rear brake. I've swapped them over. All I've done is remove the cable from in here, put it on the other side, and vice versa. Remove the grips, 3mm Allen keys, 2 bolts, one there, and the same on this side. Sorry, you can't see it there. So there's little screws here, and 2 of them, one on each side of the handle grip. Just loosen them off, take that out, and you can slide everything off. And so I took both of the grips off to make this possible. I removed the throttle from here, pushed it over to this side here. So I've got it in between the brake lever and the gear lever. The gear lever still gives me plenty of room to adjust. You can see that here comfortably, and the thumb throttle is also in the same position. In doing this, there's actually another benefit. This bike has a 1000 watt motor. Even if you've got a 500 watt motor or a 250 watt motor, it actually doesn't make any difference, to be honest with you. However, it does get more dangerous the higher the wattage is, because you've got so much more powerful so much more torque coming out of the motor. When you're riding the bike and you want to change gears, you're putting a lot of tension on the chain and onto the gear set at the back on the rear wheel. You can damage your gears on this bike quite easily because it's so powerful. So if I'm pressing down on the throttle, this bike's just going to take off. If I'm in a low gear, it's probably going to do less damage than if I'm in the if I'm in gear 1, the lowest gear, it'll be okay because the bike will just probably do a mono and take off. I mean, it won't do any damage. But if you're in, say, 5th or 6th or 7th gear or higher, you're just going to strip your gears because there's just so much torque on that chain, or you'll just snap the chain altogether. So at the moment, if I'm accelerating, I can't change gears. So in order for me to change gears, I've got to take my hand off the throttle, change gears, which is perfect, and then put my hand back on the throttle to get more speed out of it. This setup is a much safer setup for the safety of yourself when you're riding, and also reduces the risk of damaging the bike altogether and having to go to the expense of replacing gears and so on, or a chain. And the worst thing is, this is a mid-drive, and if you're stuck somewhere 30-40 kilometers away from home, you're not going anywhere. You've got to push that bike back. Unlike the Homie being a hub drive, which I have snapped the chain on, I can still keep going, put the chain in my pocket and off I go. No worries at all. But on this bike, if you get stuck somewhere because you've broken a chain or you've stripped the gear, you're pretty much going to be walking your bike back home again. So I have tidied it up a bit, and this is a much safer setup, I think, for riding a bicycle that has a throttle on it, especially because it has a throttle on it. If it didn't have a throttle on it, it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that information with you all, because you will all experience at some stage when you get your bike how much power this bike has and how much torque is actually going through that drivetrain. It could easily damage those gears. They're not built like a motorbike. They're a push bike. You've got push bike gears. If it had big fat chain on it and a big sprocket at the back, you'd be laughing, but it doesn't. Anyway, thank you. I hope you enjoy the video. Wishing you all the best.